Gentlemen, hi, it's David, and I'm coming to you today to talk to you about payment shock. This is happening to everybody. When you go get your grocery bill, you're like, what on earth is happening here? And same as when you get gas, same as when you get everything else. That's what we're going to be talking about. But first of all, Max Verstappen won again today in Monza. Pretty happy wearing a Red Bull sweater. Let's get into the article of the day. All right, guys, if we jump on and take a look at this article, Canada payment shock is looming as debt and interest rates climb. Now, this is not really a shock to you. You've seen all of this before. Canada's payment shock looms as debt and interest rates climb. You can go look at that article on baytoday.ca. You can go check that out. So as we go through this, of course, we know everything's getting more and more expensive. There's this one gentleman here who is a licensed insolvency trustee and vice president of a company that deals with bankruptcies and so forth. And he's talking about we've already started to see the signs now. Some people are already having trouble servicing debt, and it could get worse. So this article is important. Yes, we're going to look at a whole bunch of numbers, but more importantly, I talk to a lot of people every single day, 7 days a week. And these people are telling me how they're getting crunched over and over and over again, and they can't afford it, especially when you're in a single family household. Maybe you only have one kid, and you have no partner or something like that, or you have high expenses. Daycare has gone up, fuel has gone up. And we're not just talking up, going up 10%, they're up 20%. Fuel's way up, food is way up. Everything is way up, but your salary stays the same. So this is just crushing people. At the same time, inflation is going up, interest rates are going up, and the big hit comes when your mortgage payment comes out. The average mortgage payment now is $1,100 more. So this is really, really, really going to impact people. If we go back to the article, then again, it's on baytoday.ca. You can check it out. It says the risk of payment shock is front and center as people are grappling with the confluence of high inflation and high interest rates. Everything is more expensive. Buying groceries, heating your home, the basics, and now servicing your debt will cost you a lot more. And then it gives an example. For example, $100,000 home equity line of credit with roughly 3.5% floating rate would have cost you $250 before. Now that monthly payment is $500. But you remember, like, these rates are, it's not just $100,000. A lot of people in Toronto and Vancouver are owing over $1 million. So if that happens, imagine your payments are going to be $5,000. It's a lot. Okay. And Equifax. So Equifax and TransUnion are the big two in Canada. Please pay attention to what they're saying. In fact, Equifax said that the total consumer debt climbed 8.2% in the second quarter. I don't know if you guys know 8.2% you just might not hear. It is massive. Okay. In addition, it says credit card spending has reached historically high levels. TransUnion is stating that the debt grew to an all-time high of 2.24 trillion, which is up 9.2%. Okay, so we now have both of the major credit reporting places saying it's up 8 and 9% in the quarter. And credit card usage is at an all-time high. And when we check the charts, Canadian savings are at an all-time low. What do you think people are spending it on? So it's not really a question of, is the money being spent? People are spending the money left, right, and center, okay? All over the place. So then you have to ask yourself, what are they spending it on? Where is the money going? You and I know the answer, right? It's to make payments and just to make ends meet because everything is so more expensive. But it's not that you're seeing when you go to a Canadian Tire, when you're going to a Bed Bath & Beyond, when you're going to Home Depot, there is so much inventory that there's piles of it. We've done videos before on the bullwhip effect. You can check it out right here. I'm going to link that video for the bullwhip effect. It's really important that you check out what Michael Burry is talking about that, but there's so much inventory. Obviously, people aren't buying stuff. They're not buying stuff at the store. They're not buying homes anymore. They're not buying cars anymore. They're making ends meet. So this is not going to end well. This is going to end very, very poorly, and it's terrible. It's absolutely awful because we're not talking about a couple people. We did an article just yesterday where it was talking. You can check this one out on TransUnion. That one was mentioning 9.4 million people, I believe, are on risk of going over. And that might be a light number. So we've never seen anything like this before where there's millions. It may, even 2007, 8, 9, there wasn't as much as they're claiming right now, and it could be higher. So you don't know the exact day when it's going to happen. Now, a lot of people ask me that, David, when is the day? Listen, I'm not an oracle, don't have a crystal ball, but I do know for sure that if people are spending double the amount that they make in income, they're going to run out of money and going to run out of credit cards. And it's not going to end well. I also know that. I've known people before that have a beautiful house and big car and all this stuff, and it looks like they have everything under control. But guess what? In that one day that they miss all their payments, their home is foreclosed on, the car is impounded, and everything's gone. Poof, like smoke and mirrors, man. So this is where we got to make sure that we're paying attention to what is happening out there, know what's going to happen, and adjust your risk profile and your portfolios accordingly. The easiest thing that you can do right now, the easiest thing you can do is go out and buy stuff. What do I mean by stuff? Buy the stuff you need. Buy cosmetics and soaps and food and canned goods. They last some 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And you can buy food and buy stuff in advance. Listen, if I gave you an opportunity to go back 2 years in time before the health crisis and then buy up as much food and stuff that you would need, you would go back in that time machine in a second, because you would save a lot of money than what the prices are today. Listen, the prices are not up at where they are right now at a peak and going to drop back down to 2019. Keep dreaming. That's not going to happen. The prices are going to be continuing up, 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 up. The prices you see today on all your stuff is probably the best prices you're going to get. We are heading into a time where the economy is tanking and inflation is going to be going up at the same time. So you're getting hit from two sides at the same time with inflation and a disaster of an economy. Imagine now, the last survey I saw, 52% of companies and businesses are planning to lay people off or already have. Those people haven't all lost their jobs yet. But when you see that tsunami of jobs that are missing in the market, it's going to be too late. So that's why I think everybody, don't go crazy. I'm not saying go and rent a U-Haul truck and fill it up with socks from from Costco. I'm saying start building your supplies, And so what I always say is just try to buy a couple cans every single time that you go to the store and stock up on that stuff, because I think there's going to be some really hard times coming. Of course, there's always going to be these people all over the internet that are going to tell you now is the best time to buy a car, best time to buy a house, best time to buy everything, right? Now is always the best time to any salesman. I'm putting my neck out there, and I don't think that there's any way that is possible. So when people challenge me and say, well, I think it's going to go great, I'm like, great. Can you show me one indicator, just one, that shows that we are heading on a right path, that is going good? And everyone can't point to anything. But the number one answer is, well, I hope it'll sort itself out. When a bear is running at you, okay, it doesn't just sort itself out. You're going to get chomped by that bear. So you have to do something about it. And I call it hopium, that drug that everyone is sniffing, that hopium. Hope doesn't solve the problems, and you got to solve the problems, right? And there's ways for us to do it. So for just as little as $1, you can go buy a can of food and put that in your cupboard, and it's good for many years. Or you can go buy a big bag of rice or something. If you want to be a little bit more advanced than that, you can start buying something as little as $30 and start buying some silver. This is money. This is currency. We got to know what the difference between those two things are. Anyway, as you know, I want to get the word out there. I want to help more people. So if you know anybody that this could help, just send it to one person. It would really mean a lot. We're trying to get the word out there. Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow to this, and I'll check you out later. Tony, hey, I see you over on TikTok. How are you, man? And you guys on YouTube, if you guys want to put any questions on YouTube, you can as well. The Fed has said they want unemployment to go up. Of course they do. Um, this is my sweater for Red Bull Racing. Max, my driver, I love this guy. He went live today. And he won. He won in Monza in Italy. So I figure I should celebrate a little bit of Red Bull today. Tony, you said, am I sure? Am I sure about what? Do you think that there'll be a global housing crash? Yeah, for sure. This is my question is, if you don't think so, how can you think that? And this is what I mean always is I want somebody to give me one indication, one answer of why. Now, we live in Canada, and Canada and the United States are in kind of a privileged position because a lot of people want to come to Canada. A lot of people want to come. So they always fall back on, well, I want immigration to come in and take over. The majority of immigration that comes in doesn't come in with money. We are in a financial crunch. We don't have any cash. Every country of the world would prefer to have somebody that's coming in that's 20 years old, highly educated with a big pocket of cash. Unfortunately, those don't exist. So we end up bringing a lot of 50 and 60-year-olds into the country, and it doesn't help the economy out at all. In fact, it's still dragging it more down, right? So the whole idea of, well, there's this rich young class of people that we're just going to import, I don't really buy that, right? And that's, we need people with big skills to be able to solve big problems. Millie, how are you, man? Good to see you. Tony, yeah, food and shelter is what we got to bank on. This is what we have to make sure we're here. A lot of people, it really depends how their mortgages are set up. If you're leasing, whatever it is, you need to be stocking up on stuff. You need to be having food and stuff. Here's the crazy part is I grew up going hunting and fishing my whole life. I used to get our own honey. We used to do our own jerky. We used to go get our own fish, our own blueberries. We used to do that. But you can stock up in your home. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm not a prepper, but you could, if you wanted to, put a year or two of food in your house so that if there was something crazy, you would never have to go outside. You would live okay. The prices that you see today are probably the cheapest prices you're going to get for a long time. Car prices will drop. Well, used car prices will drop. Probably not new prices. New prices will be going up with inflation. I know Invest with TJ, you're saying they want unemployment to go up so they can bring people back to the office. So if they want to bring people back to the office, they could just ask that. They don't have to have inflation going up. There's a battle for money right now. Jeremy on YouTube, how are you, buddy? Thanks very much for coming on. As always, if you have any questions, you can put them down there below. Montreal Services, you said more products are increasing prices and lower volume with the same packaging. Yeah, they call that shrinkflation, right? So you used to be able to buy a liter of something, and now it's 3/4 of a liter, and soon half a liter, always for the same price. Yeah, I saw that Canada now has a new leader for the Conservative Party. Pierre, man, let's see. Let's see what happens, man. Here's the crazy thing, though. As far back as we've gone, there's always another politician, and now we're talking thousands of years, way before Canada. There's always hope that the next one is going to come on. But I want you to go and check out a map and write M2 money supply for the United States or M2 money supply for Canada. Okay, or any country, whatever if you're in England, I don't care. And the debt level goes like this, straight up. So this part will be liberal, conservative, a liberal, a conservative, a liberal, a conservative. They all work for the same like money hungry kind of bosses, right? They serve companies. So it doesn't really matter if we go left, we go right, Republican, it doesn't matter. They're all going to be spending way more money than they take in. And they're all going to be adding to the debt, and they're all going to be causing more problems. It's just the way it is. Manny, how are you, buddy? Sending peace and love. How are you? This is a good question. If real estate is going to tank one day, what else could we invest in? Well, you're at the right place. We talk about this every single day. I try and come on live every day. You can go to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of pages on that. So, as everyone knows, the number one thing that you should be investing in is always your food and stocking up at your house, all the products that you need in your home. That's the first thing I would do. After that, you need to have about a 3-month reserve, emergency fund for yourself. And you need to be able to pay your rent and everything. After that, you should be buying a little bit of silver and gold. How much? 5 to 10% of your net worth should be in silver and gold, in physical, not paper assets. After you do that, then you could start building up your opportunity fund. And finally, if we're really brave, we put like 1% in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Does that help? Peace and love. Yeah, invest with TJ. You're saying silver as well. Silver is a fantastic thing. Commercial real estate, Tony. Yeah, commercial real estate's going down too. Everything's going down. This is why they call it the everything bubble. Sending peace and love. I recognize a lot of the people who are on here. I think that I haven't seen you here before, but that was a really good question. It depends how much money you have. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a real estate broker. I operate around the Greater Toronto area, but we do advisory and consulting for people all over North America and out in Europe and Australia. I run 4 companies, and it's all based out of Toronto, but 2 of our companies are in Alberta, Canada. So if you are trying to build yourself up, and get a lot of action, and you have some money, then you could start buying something in bulk. I always suggest about a 100-ounce bar. This is Royal Canadian Mint. It's about 7 pounds of silver. Hang on a second. I dropped this on the floor. This is the other thing you can do. This is 1 ounce of gold. So 1 ounce of gold. You can also do this. So this is what I would be suggesting. That's to peace and love. But you can only do the silver and gold if you only have a certain amount of money. You first got to start stocking up your own life, making sure that you have whatever. If you take injections, do you have needles? Do you have food, fruits, vegetables, meats? Do you have a freezer extra full? Like, do you have all the stuff in your house stocked up? We were talking yesterday. I have an extra set of tires. I have extra oil. I have extra oil filters. I got stuff, that I'm going to be needing anyway. Sending peace and love. Which part do you want me to repeat? I've been talking for a few minutes. And Jeremy, if on YouTube, if you want me to answer any questions, you can ask me. Montreal Services, crazy question. Increased cash flow. What about selling online like Amazon, Etsy, and others? I don't know. Maybe you guys know me. I sell stuff on a bunch of different platforms. We do on Amazon as well. We have a side project that we do. Yeah. So I do think it's good, but it's very, very, very hard. Peace and love. So what I would suggest for everybody is that it depends on how much money you have to invest. If you only have $30, go buy a silver round, something like that. It's just a silver round. It's not a coin, right? The coins will be a maple leaf, say Canada on it. It will have the queen on it. I'm talking, this is just a round because they're the same weight. And when you go to sell them, they sell them for the same price. So buy the cheapest you can. We buy weight, right? If you have a little bit more money than $30, one of these is like $2,500 and one of these is like $2,800. So this is like the next level up. Does that help? Peace and love. So my suggestion always is we do not buy pretty. This is the rule, okay? We do not buy pretty. We buy weight. So I don't buy coins. that are pretty with Canada on it. This is a British sovereign gold coin or royal. This is Queen Victoria, but I don't buy coins. You should be buying something that has just a square. Millie's got it. Value over looks. Yeah, that's kind of good dating advice too. Just don't go for looks, man. You got to go for the inner person. Montreal Services, you're asking what do I sell? We have a whole bunch of different companies. We also sell on Etsy. We also have courses. We also write books. We have a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't talk about it much online. Remember, you need to have a lot of different streams of income coming in. So you can't live off of one stream of income. You should be trying to build up 10, 12 different streams of income. And here goes the big headache here is you can't just do all 12 at the same time. You got to pick one, focus on it, work like 90 days on that one stream of income, get that one coming in, and then start building the second one. So try every 90, 100 days to be adding one more stream. Peace and love. We're the $2,500 and $2,800 gold. This is about $2,500. This is the 1 ounce. 1 ounce. This is a Royal Canadian Mint bar. And this right here is around 2,800, I think, right now. 100 ouncer from Royal Canadian Mint as well. 100 ounce. If you want to check out where I buy them, the link is in my bio. YouTube, thanks very much for coming on. And Jeremy, you have some good stuff here. Do you think Amazon will take over everything? Probably. They sure are now, right? Well, Walmart is so big. So I'm sorry, let me finish reading. He says, do you think Amazon will take over everything that we need online, and then Walmart and Target will go out of business? So as you see, what's the last company that they just bought? They bought Ring. They bought iRobot. They're buying a lot of different companies. So all the Roombas will now be them. So we got to look at that stuff, right? And kind of look into the future. They're buying everything that have huge cash flow. So, Target, I don't know. Walmart will probably be around forever. What do you think of Amazon Fresh? We don't have one. I've never been to one. What do you think would happen with prices? And if that happens, what do you think would look at for prices? I'm not really sure. Amazon has built their entire business on razor thin margins with massive volume. So I expect that to continue off into the future. Who would have thought that just a few years ago they would have come out with AWS and it would have taken over the entire internet? Kind of crazy. These guys are monsters. So this goes Montreal Services. He's asking a question. When you buy gold and silver, does Revenue Canada know what you buy? So here is the answer, and you would have to call each individual company. The general answer is, though, they must take your name, they must have details on you, and they keep the data, and they do not report to the government. But if the government ever asks information, they are obliged to give it. Remember, though, the government can always go and subpoena your bank records, and they will see what money that you've put into them. They'll see your transfers. And you have to pay taxes on the gains of your gold and silver. Will gold go up or down with inflation going up? So I guess you can always go back in history and look at that. There's charts where the gold prices are moving, and there's charts where the stock prices are moving, and you can overlay the two. And so historically, every time that the economy is tanking and we're doing bad, gold and silver go up as the stock market comes down. And as the stock market is going up, nobody cares about gold anymore, and it goes down. And that's kind of the key. It's always the opposite. Peace and love. You said, thank you for the interaction. Absolutely, man. That's what I'm here for. Hopefully I can help you out. Question is if gold and silver taxes when you sell or by the year or when you sell. So whenever you sell your gold and silver, then you're going to have to claim those taxes, the gains on your taxes. So it really depends on your jurisdiction. Please talk to your accountant. I'm not a financial advisor, right? But if you do sell your gold and silver, you got to report those gains. But then it comes back to the questions like, why are you selling? Because we are investors. So when we are buying gold and silver and properties and everything, we do not sell our properties. This is how, this is part of what we teach everybody is we buy for the long road. Remember, Japanese culture, a short-term plan is 20 years. A long-term plan is 50 years. We have no plans on ever selling it. We borrow against them, right? Our goal is to pay zero taxes for the rest of your life. And you could do that legally. So start reading books, a lot of books. I've been doing it for 20 years. You can start reading a book like this, Tom Wheelwright, The Wealth Strategy, if you want. Tom Wheelwright is a great guy. He'll tell you how the government wants you to pay zero tax. So once I started learning about that and start reading and start getting tax strategists, you can legally pay 0% taxes if you want. You just have to do the right thing. The entire tax code is a series of incentives to get you to pay zero tax. They want you to pay no tax. So the idea that you should never cheat on your taxes, you're going to get caught for that. Why would you? Why would you cheat on your taxes to pay zero when you can do it legally? Over on YouTube, I got a question. Do you think at some point the recession we would see deflation due to the amount of unused resources? Listen, we can have inflation two ways. We can have inflation because there is too much demand, and we can have inflation because there's not enough supply. And today we have half the supply and double the demand. So imagine, like, we are only producing 25% of the stuff that we should be having right now. So we need a lot more. And so they're going at it two ways. And now they're trying to, the governments cannot increase the supply. All they can do is dampen demand. How do they dampen demand? Raising interest rates to the roof. Will there be a little bit of deflation? Yeah. But in what? There won't be deflation in food. There won't be deflation in fuel, but there will be deflation in used cars. There will be deflation in homes, in major urban centers. So it really depends what, right? It's never across the whole board. That's why when we're talking about properties, it's not all real estate everywhere, right? Because some cities are stable and don't go down at all. Some cities have this wild swing, right? We can have in the big cities, depends on the ones, but that can be down 50%. And even if we get a little more granular beyond that, and you look at our city in Toronto, we buy and sell properties every single day. And there's some areas here down 50%, some down 40%, some down 30%, all over the place. So it really, really depends if you're commercial, residential, or whatever, But there isn't a lot of unused resources. That I think is the mistake, I think, because we don't have an abundance of any resources right now. In addition, on top of that, we are seeing massive money creation. So they printed 40% more money. 40% more money, which meant the price of everything went up 40%. Gas, that gas went up more than 40. Food is up like 40. Houses went up 40 where I live. So when you print a lot of money, what are you spending it on? And this is what's kind of crazy, is because a lot of people went down this whole road because they think that when I'm always talking about this bill and I'm always talking about silver certificate, they're always talking about, well, David, you want to go back to the gold standard. No, I don't. Getting off the gold standard was a fantastic thing. So what did we do? We only had, let's just say, $1 billion of gold, so we could have $1 billion of paper, right? So that was the constraint. They had to be equal all the time. So if you wanted more paper dollars, you had to go and mine more gold. Okay, so when we went off of it at the end of the Second World War, we went off in 71, but we started breaking that, back in mid-60s. We had borrowed more already. But what did they do in the 50s and 60s and the beginning of the 70s? What we saw was that they were taking money, borrowing it, and putting the money into education. and educating everybody for very cheap, or building highways to get people to their jobs faster. But when you build a highway, now you have lasting good for generations. You educate your entire population, they are going to do much better, much healthier, live longer, pay more taxes. It's much better. Where are you putting the money? So my problem isn't against us borrowing money and using it for a good purpose like Singapore does. I'm saying when we borrow money like we did in the past couple years, and they call it helicopter money, just sending money to people, anyone, just pick it up off the ground. That's why they just sprinkle it from the airplanes down onto the ground. Hopefully people will pick it up and go buy some Dora the Explorer backpack. You know what I mean? And then all the prices rise. So what we've done since the 70s is we've splurged it and start giving it away in exchange for people's votes. That's a very different debt. So when we bring it down to just me, like one person, if I go and borrow some money and maybe I went and bought a silver coin with it, I've invested in my future with that borrowed money. But if I go take borrowed money and I go to the club and buy a bottle of Grey Goose, that's gone forever and it leaves no lasting impact. So the key here is, yes, borrow, but only borrow for investments. That's the big thing. All right. Second attempt, Pog. Did I help you? I hope it helped. Anyway, I went off on a rant there. I hope that you guys appreciate that. This is Montreal Services. You said, question is, when gold and silver taxes when you sell by the year? Yeah, at the end of the year, you have to put it up. Mr. Sir Lobster, you said the other night I told you Cape Breton that you had a house for sale for $85,000 and it dropped. Woo! Wow, to $76,500. But it was $90,000 home. Yeah. So you see, in real estate, remember this: like you'll have a small home, like maybe say 90,000 in price. I'm talking, and it went down to 76. What is that percentage? I don't know, 15, 17%. I can't, something like that. Whereas in Toronto here, we're seeing homes that are down 50%. But you will never see your home at 90,000 go down 50. But it's very easy for a $3 million home here to go down 50. You know what I mean? So the lower price homes might go down 10, 15, and a little bit bigger might go down 15, 20, and a bit bigger might go down 15, 20, 25, and bigger and bigger. The larger the home, the bigger percent of drop. If you're trying to sell it, I hope you sell it, man. Is it, this is to Mr. Lobster. Is it a 1-bedroom? Is it a 2-bedroom? Does it have a unit in the basement? Hey, Dave Stucco, how are you, buddy? Mr. Lobster, you said, what the bank's doing hard to get mortgage. I had 100 or more people wanted it, but no one could come up with the money. Yeah, the banks are not lending right now. The last time that I was looking for some money from a bank, we went into it. They wanted $1 million of collateral for $250,000 loan. What? I wouldn't even be coming to you for a $250 loan for $1 million collateral. Unbelievable. So you can go to a private lender then. Don't bother with those guys. Montreal Services, you said, would you say we are in a housing crash? Absolutely, 100%. For some reason, we have lost all reason as a society. Everyone has gone crazy. For all time, a recession is 2 negative quarters. We knew we were in a recession in April, but for some reason, everybody wants to change the definition of what a depression is and change a definition of recession for political gain to try to confuse everybody. So all of this, I really like your question, because everyone's saying, do you think we're going to go into housing correction? We're talking to people on a daily basis who are crying their eyes out that they're going to lose their homes, go in foreclosure. What's going to happen to their kids? They're losing their retirements. Like, we are in it. We're smack dab in the middle of it. It's not going to come. So I like how you phrase that. Like, would you say we are in a housing crash? Yeah. Like smack dab in the middle of it. But good question, man. This is to Cool Acadian. If you buy a shovel and the price increases, it's not okay for the store to tax me on the price increase. If you buy a shovel and the value increases, it's not okay for the store to tax me on the price increase. Same thing for gold. If the government is selling me gold, it's not okay to tax me on the product. Well, the government's not the one selling you gold. You have to buy the gold from a private company. And if you buy the gold from a private company, it's the same thing. If you buy a house and the house goes up in value, you got to pay tax on that. If you buy a stock and it goes up in value, you have to pay tax on it. The only things that are not taxed are if you are taking a loan against a specialized life insurance product, or if you have debt, or if you use depreciation. There's only a couple ways that you can, in Canada. In the States, we got a few more ways. But that's kind of like really complicated stuff. The private company is buying gold from the Royal Canadian Mint. Well, they're just a provider. So some of the silver that I hold up, this right here is a silver round. This is not made by the Royal Canadian Mint. This coin right here is a gold coin, is not made by the Royal Canadian Mint. This right here is not made by the Royal Canadian Mint. So when you go and look at these companies, they only have a couple of the Royal Canadian Mint and everything else. So they just source it and resell it. When you go to a grocery store, they got a lot of different companies' products on the shelves, right? And you buy the stuff there. Same as when you're going to buy gold and silver, they have a lot of different products all in the same store. Yeah, a lot of people, you said a lot of Montreal services, you said there's a lot of people that think that everything's fine and there's a big white elephant in the room. Absolutely. The world has gone absolutely bananas. They've gone crazy. Definitions don't mean anything anymore for some crazy reason. Don't ask me why. We are so far into a recession that I don't understand what the confusion is. 54% of jobs want to lay people off. 54% of companies are saying that they will lay off, or they're going to, or they have. We have food and inflation is out of control, absolutely everywhere. Wages are stuck, and now we have this looming debt crisis. I mean, we're in some serious doo-doo, man. But everyone says, no, we're okay. Don't worry about it. It's an election year, guys. We got it all under control. These guys. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? The Canadian maple leaf is done at the Royal Canadian Mint. Yes. This one is made at the Mint. So I have some products from the Mint. I have some products that are not. This is to cool Acadian. So I don't know if that's are you like a cool Canadian? You put that together, or are you like Acadian from the east side of Canada? Oh my goodness, what's happening with my hair? One part's in Quebec and the other part's in Saskatchewan. Hey guys, do you like my Red Bull sweater here? Max Verstappen won today. I'm a big F1 fan. Hey guys, if you're on YouTube, you have any questions, just send them on over. I'll take it, Jeremy and second attempt Pog and whoever else is there. Montreal services, you said, what comes after a recession? Well, I mean, that's a deep question. Let me show you, okay? I'm turning on my screen here. So this is what you have to look at. This is what I always do. Let's say this. Do you see this kind of graph? This is the money supply. So every single year, the government makes more and more and more and more money constantly. So if you look at the stock market or something like that, the stock market will always be going above and beyond like this, always. So, the money supply is just as important as you following what the stock market is. But for every recession, and a recession would be somewhere like, this dip here. That's a recession. After every recession, there's usually a boom, and then a recession, and then another boom. It keeps moving up and up and up with the money supply. There'll be boom bust. It's typical. We have one every 5 to 7 years. The problem is right now, Canada, US, like the whole Western world is heading toward a much bigger one because we have something that we would call debt cycles. Let me break this down for you. Do you ever know that it's hard to teach a kid what the word day means? Because you could say back in the day, which means a million years ago, or you could say when you were back in the day when I was young, or we could say the day is a 24-hour period, or daytime, the day is only 12 hours. So the word day can mean a lot of different things. So when we talk about debt, there's a lot of different cycles when it comes to debt. And so we have short-term ones where every 5 to 7 years we can have a recession and then a peak and a recession and a peak. But we also have these long-term debt cycles where the big countries swing. So you could have the Dutch rise up and then they come down after 100 years. And then you have France rise up and France ends up collapsing after 100 years. And then England rose up and then it collapsed after the Second World War. And the United States have gone up and they're kind of gone over the top, right? And so in addition to having a regular recession and boom every couple of years, we in addition to that have this big swing as the US has printed too much more money. And so that's where I always suggest everyone go read this book here from Ray Dalio, The Changing World Order, one of my best books of the year. You can see it in the link in my bio if you guys want to check that out. Hey, YouTube, you guys are pretty quiet tonight, but if you have any other questions, you can put them down there. You guys that are on TikTok, if you want to follow me on my YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to get more followers, Rough Team Realty. But thanks very much for all the likes, you guys. It really helps out the algorithm. I appreciate it. If it goes cashless, is gold still worth buying? Well, here's the thing. We are going cashless. There's 90 countries right now who are looking into going into central bank digital currencies. So all the countries of the world are going to go cashless. What did we hear over the past 2 years? Cash is evil. Cash will give you COVID. So, we keep hearing that. So if cash will make you sick and that's in the news and we're going to go cashless, it's going to be better for you. Well, that is all going to be controlling what you can spend money on. And so that's why an even greater reason why you should have some gold and silver in your possession. Mr. Lobster, do you understand we are going into a depression, the worst one ever? So listen, I am not a clickbaity guy. I don't try and say like bold claims. I don't know where we're heading. All we know is we're heading into something that is quite not good. It's going to be rough. How long? I don't know. But as I was saying, there's recession and boom and bust, every couple, whatever we're going to say, 5 to 7 years. We've been 14 years. So we're way overdue. And we've had more debt than we've ever had in the history of any country in history. So how is that going to shake out? The only thing is it's not going to shake out well. So, this is what's crazy is if we said, okay, I by myself, I spend $100,000 a year, but I only make $50,000 a year. You're like, David, you're in trouble. And I'm like, okay, what happens if me and my brother, we both make $50,000 a year and we both spend $100,000 a year? That's not any better. Okay. You're still in trouble. Well, what happens if you're a whole country like the United States that has 300 million people and they all spend $100,000 a year, but they only make 50? We're in this massive problem with the government and massive amounts of debts with them, massive debts corporate, massive debts personal. And so how does that all shake out? I mean, we've seen on TV Prince Charles talking about it and the World Economic Forum talking about it and the International Monetary Fund all talking about them wanting to have a great reset. What does that mean? I mean, that's crazy town to me. Just wiping out everybody's assets, wiping out everybody's debts. Like, I can't even imagine the chaos that would create. Now, they talk about it. Will that happen? I don't know. But it's just whatever happens, it's got to be worse than a regular recession that we have. Whatever's going to be coming. Second attempt Pog, you're asking me, do I have a Discord server or something? No, you could help with building up the community. I don't have a Discord. I've thought about it before. I don't know if you do you guys think that would be a good idea for me to have a Discord? Maybe we could put out a poll for a while. We're really just strapped for time. My wife and I run four businesses, and on top of running four businesses, I got a large family. In addition to that, I'm trying to come on every day and help you guys out for a couple hours a day. We are taxed; like we have no time left in the day. So if it would be something that would add some value, then maybe if it got us enough clients, then maybe. But I can't right now. We're pretty full, and all this stuff that I talk about, you guys, like I'm not just a teacher here. I actually do all this stuff. And I not only do it for me, I do it for all our clients. So yeah, I like the idea. I like the sentiment. I do. It's just, I just don't know if I have the time right now. Um, we could be going into a really rough time. Yes, absolutely. Really big one. I don't like to throw around that D word for depression. That's a mega serious thing, but I think that we're going to be in for a really, really rough time. So most people that are around, they remember 2007, 8, 9. If you're my age or older, but everyone that's younger than me, they don't even remember 2007, 8, 9. They don't remember the desperation. Me, I was receiving 20 emails a day asking me for a job, or do I know anyone who would pay? They will work for food. I remember 2 and 3 families living in a 2-bedroom condo. Imagine you having like 9 people living in a 2-bedroom condo. Absolutely crazy. Never seen anything like that before. I saw some prices of homes in some states drop 90%, all the same time that rent doubled. So we're seeing a lot of problems that was then, and whatever is going to come now is going to be worse. How much worse? I don't know. This is going to be your last call, guys. I'm going to get going. Sunday night, man. I got a big week coming up. How can we not have cash? Dan, I like where your mind is. Montreal Services, you're saying cash is king. No, cash I don't think is king. Now, cash is king is kind of a colloquial term, meaning you have to have purchasing power. So I don't just sit in cash, because cash is losing, depending on how you measure it, 8-12% per year. I'm not in the business of losing money. So I would much rather have something like gold or silver in my possession that I could turn into cash and then go buy something. How this Jean the Builder, how are you, man? This you're saying, do you think it's a good idea to have money out of the bank? Listen, guys, I use the banks every single day. As you know, I said I have 4 businesses. The biggest one that we operate is our real estate business all over around the Greater Toronto area, where we're selling people's homes, and we try and sell them for the top dollar through very, very aggressive online marketing. So that is where we make the majority of money. We have to have money in the bank. But let me tell you, there is stories popping up all over Europe, Australia, China, where banks are shutting down. They're not allowing money to come out. They're not canceling your account, right? But they're shutting it down, or they're slowing down how much money you can get out. If you want to get $1,000, you can order it a week in advance, and you'll get 500. So you should have cash, access to some cash to keep running, right? So you need to be able to float for some time. What happens if there's a massive power outage? My mother just went through a power outage for 4 days. And in those 4 days, no banks were open, no stores were open. There was no food. There was nothing. If she didn't have cash at home, she would have squat. So yeah, you got to have cash available to you. In addition, I want you guys to do some homework and go and type in Canada bail in. Canada bail in, BAILIN. If you go look at that, those laws that Canada was setting up, those laws mean if the countries or the banks are in trouble, the government has a full right to go in and take the money out of your bank account to make sure the banks stay open. So that's not a cool thing to have. So the banks are billionaires, if they're going to take my money to make sure that they're okay and that their bosses get their bonuses. So, man, you shouldn't be keeping large sums of money in the bank. I don't do that. Remember, a lot of what we teach and a lot of our curriculum and our courses that we have is how to get you all of you, myself, to keep the most control that you can. Control your money, control your properties, control of everything. Mr. Lobster, look at this guy. TD Bank wanted $850 for me to remove 50,000. They should be giving it to you for free. Why should they charge you anything? This is what I mean. Banks are always screwing with you. Unbelievable. Write a check to another bank. So you're not withdrawing it, you're sending it to another bank and get away from them. Unbelievable. These jokesters, unbelievable. They're just ripping off everybody all the time. I can't stand that. And it makes me so angry. So that's why we take a lot of our money and we put it into gold and silver. Remember, never keep it at your home. You always got to keep it off-site, either a safety deposit box or even better, you can vault it with individual companies in other countries out of the jurisdiction. That way you always have some money somewhere. Right now, everyone always asks me, should I be buying gold or silver? I keep telling everybody today, the best thing to be buying is silver. This is a silver round. You should start with that. If you have a little bit more money, instead of $30, you can spend like $2,700 or something and get a 7-pound bar. If you guys want to know where I buy them, you can check out the links in my bio. That's the company I've been using for 15 years. And I test all of their metal with a tester, and they're always pure. There's so many fakes out there. So be careful where you get your stuff. Mr. Lobster, you said, I put up my back card to $5,000, your credit card, I guess, to $5,000 a day and took it out that way. Yeah, good job, man. Second attempt, Pog. Thank you very much for the idea of the Discord channel. I'm going to think about it. I just have to figure out if we have time for it. I just have so many projects on. We probably have like 30 projects on right now. Remember, I am just the guy that comes on here, but I have my wife that works, like more than full time. We both work like 70, 80 hours a week, right? So we work a lot, but we have this incredible team that helps us, Ray and Glenn and Tessa, and we have a lot of people that help us out. So thank you very much for the team to make this all happen. Second attempt, Pog, you said it doesn't take much time to set up. I just don't know how much time I would have to create all the content. Don't you have to, isn't it like letters that you're writing stuff, always writing articles and posting? Is that what it is? I thought that's what it is. I'll look into it. I'll look into it again, okay? But thanks for the idea. If it's something that you want to help me set up, man, I would appreciate it if you wanted to. Jean the Builder, you said you like the way you educate people. You make sense. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Listen, guys, there's a lot of fake gurus out there. So what I always tell you is don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone on YouTube. Don't listen to anybody. You got to make your own conclusions by it. And this is what's crazy is, remember, guys, I said there's the 2 top books that you are interested in, right? These are the 2 books that you should be reading this year. The Changing World Order, Ray Dalio, one of the smartest humans to have ever walked the earth, multi-billionaire, made it all himself. You see this book right here, Peter Zian? Other book, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. Another one of the best geniuses on the planet, best geopolitic guy ever. But this guy says that China is going to take over the world, and this guy says China is going to collapse any moment. So how do you read 2 books from the smartest people that are out there, and then they have completely different opinions? And this is what I mean is you got to take in all this information from different sources and kind of figure it out on your own to see what is the truth, right? How I took away from it is this guy is looking backwards in time from today back, and this guy is looking 10 years from now. He uses a lot of demographics to sort it out. So, the more books you read, the better your education. I've been reading a book a week for 20 years. I suggest everybody do that. Kevin Thompson, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks very much for coming on. Second attempt, Pog. Yeah, so what's 5% OG of 2 trillion? What's OG, buddy? Kevin Thompson? What's 5% OG of 2 trillion? I don't know what that means, man. Sorry, dude. Mark over on YouTube, thanks very much for your comment. You You gave an interesting channel. Yes, people borrow way too much and it is going to get ugly. It has no choice. They're already out of money. Absolutely, Mark. People have borrowed way, way too much money. And who do I mean by people? Federal governments have borrowed too much. Then the states and provinces have borrowed too much, and people have bought too much, and corporations have bought too much. The entire system is built on debt, and we are in some serious, serious trouble, right? Unfortunately, if you look up what the word Ponzi scheme means, right? If the Ponzi scheme is when you're paying into money into something, and it has no chance of ever paying out. And here we are in systems where we are always told this is the best system. We're paying money in taxes because they're going to build the roads, right? And they're going to take care of our energy needs, and they're going to take care of our healthcare needs, and they're going to pay our pensions when we get older. And we're going to keep paying all these taxes all these years. But when you look at it mathematically, there's no way that they can ever cover that. So, we are living inside of this massive Ponzi scheme if you look at what the definition is. So this is where you kind of just got to kind of wake up a little bit and go, oh my God, I got to do something about this, right? This is why I say, a train is coming at you. You got to be the one to step out of the way. And you do that by getting a financial education. Yeah, Kevin Thompson, you're saying Canadian debt is over $2 trillion. Isn't that unbelievable? But that is even small. The $2 trillion that Canada owes, that's what they owe today. Unfunded liabilities are much, much greater. Unfunded liabilities are, when you have a kid, you've paid for everything, right? But that kid's got to eat next year and 2 years from now and 3 years from now. Do you have the money to pay for 3 years of food for the kid today? No, you don't. You just know that you're going to have to pay for it, right? So in a government term, they have to pay for pensions, and they have to pay for healthcare for everybody, and they have to pay for the military veterans and all this stuff. They don't have the money for that. And the unfunded liability is massive, way, way bigger. Interest rates now at 5%. Yeah, much even higher. Yeah. Mark, you said, indeed, Kevin, crazy. You're giving people good advice. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Rents are too high, prices are too high, and debt levels are way too high. This will eventually lead in stagflation and depressionary. Debt includes deflation. I don't know. That part I don't know, Mark, because we're heading into a weird time where we could have massive inflation and increasing in debt and a decreasing economy. So I don't know. Stagflation, I think, is a real possibility. I think that we're going to have deflation in some categories. Probably not food, probably not energy, in certain types of real estate, for sure. But, we could get a little bit down for sure. Montreal services, you said you like the way that I educate people. Makes sense. Thanks very much for the kind words. I appreciate it. You said you're going to be considering buying gold and silver. If you're going to be buying gold and silver, you could use my link in my thing. If you like this type of content, they pay me like $2 or something if a client comes in, but it just will help keep the channel open. If you can do that, use my link, please, to get gold and silver from the company that I use. I've been using them for 15 years. They're an international company. I actually know half the employees in Montreal have been going there so long. When I came on and heard you saying you have YouTube channel, could I have that again? Oh yeah, absolutely. Mr. Lobster. It's the exact same name as this one. Rough Team Realty. Rough is my last name, my family name. Rough Team Realty is the exact same channel over on YouTube. Please follow me over there. I'd really appreciate it. I go into a lot of longer form content where I'm describing stuff up on the screen. You're my Andrew Tate in real estate. That's like a very good compliment, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Here's the thing. I'm just going to tell you like it is. No BS. That's all I can promise you. Real estate in USA is $1 trillion industry. Absolutely. I think it's probably many trillions, but $1 trillion a year for sure between real estate agents, mortgage brokers, and all that other stuff, right? Here's the thing that I can promise you. This is Saram there. All I can say is that I'm always going to be brutally honest, right? Now, not everyone likes it, but I'll always be honest. That's the thing. In truth, that's why the majority of my clients like me is because I'll just tell you the way it is, right? I'm like, yeah, this house sucks. I would never buy it. Um, Montreal service is great. If I want to walk in and talk to someone, who do you recommend? I recommend the exact same company that I use in my link. It's Kitco. It's in Montreal. You're in Montreal, obviously. It's downtown. You can walk right into the place. You have to call it. You have to go make an account, and then you have to book an appointment. And then when you go in and book an appointment, then they'll give you the time to come in. You got that, Montreal services? The company is named Kitco. You can look at the link in my platform. I would appreciate it if you'd use it. If not, it's okay. You can just go here, click on the link. You have to put your name and password. Yeah, name and password to get in. That's your account. Oh no, email and password. Then you have an account, and then you book a time to go in person. They'll give you a time. The last time that I did it, like they were like, come at 10:20. And you just go there and there's parking around all around the building. And then you just make an appointment, you go up. It's kind of a cool place to go, actually. Um, all you guys on YouTube, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for coming by. Albeit Mark Abrinsky, thank you very much. Kevin Thompson, thanks for coming up. Jeremy, thank you very much. You guys have been pretty quiet. All the action's been on TikTok today, but anytime that you need anything, you can DM me, send me a message over on YouTube. You could send me a message on TikTok. You guys who are on TikTok, if you have any questions, if you ever want to work with us, we sell properties all over the greater Toronto area, all the way from Oshawa down to Niagara Falls up to Barrie. But we do consulting and advisory for anybody in Canada and the United States when they're purchasing their properties and building their wealth portfolio. So you kind of need to have some cash in order to work with us on that side, on the advisory front, if you want to be building it out. But if you want to be buying houses, we can help you do it pretty much anywhere. We have a big team. You can work with my companies in Alberta if you wanted to as well. And I wish you guys the very best. I hope that you have a fantastic night. Keep on crushing it. Keep on doing whatever you can do to make those little steps. Remember, we're not here for grand slams. We're here just to get on base. Oh, to quote good old Billy Bean, we just want you to make those steps one after the other after the other. If you can continue to make those singles, then all the runs will just come. So don't be always hitting for the fences for a home run. Jeremy, thanks very much for good night. Have a great night. Second attempt, Pog. Thanks very much for coming by. We are the quiet force. Listen, we need to have, if we are going to survive this terrible downturn and what we're going to happen, we need to be able to come together as people, right? In reality, it's disappointing that we might only have what this week we were topping out at 100 people on a live. You should have 100,000 people worried about this. And this is the problem, is that the majority of people just don't care. But the few of you that do care and are going to pay attention, you're going to be able to buy deals at massive prices, right? So all those people that said, I don't care, I just want to watch Netflix, those guys their home is going to drop from $1 million down to 400,000. And you and I are going to go buy the home for pennies on the dollar. Sorry, man. That's what happens when you wear a blindfold and try and walk across a highway. You're going to get smooshed. So, to those who are prepared for this, it could be the best time of their career. And that's what I want you guys to do. Kevin, you said keep building your live stream. We will support you. Thank you very much for the voucher confidence. I really appreciate it. This actually costs a lot of money and a lot of time to do this. If we look at it money-wise, it's definitely not worth it. But you know what? A lot of people, I've been able to help people pull themselves out of poverty. I was on welfare. I had no money to buy food. That was me. And if I can save a few people, man, I want to help them. Anyway, guys, I wish you the very, very best. I hope you have a great night. All the best, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.